Excuse me. 5 minutes. Dang it. Hey, Pat. Hi, everybody. Welcome to StashBlaster Quilts. My name is Maria, and I am the host here. So, welcome, friends. So, it has been a while since we've chatted. I was in Missouri when we were supposed to have done the last time, and I could not get my system to work. No matter what I did, it was not going to be going anywhere. So I am very happy to be back home and able to chat with you guys. So let me get you caught up on what's going on. I am back from Missouri. I also have spent all day in a mini conference, so my tush is now molded to my chair. I'm not sure I'll be able to get up if I need to, but I'll give it a try. But for the most part, I'm going to be sitting here probably until 10 tonight because it's California time. So it's been an interesting day. I've learned a lot, but my brain's a little fried. So, as usual, let's go ahead and start with the tip of the month at this point, since last time we talked. Um, and that is for travel, because I've done a lot of it over the summer. My next trip is going to be to London in March, and I have been finding it very helpful to have several small handwork projects boxed and ready to go. I can take at any point, if I'm getting a lot of time to sew when I'm on the road, then I can take that box, drop it off, pick up another one to take with me on the next thing. And what I've been doing over the last, let's say 2 weeks, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. We got home 3 days before Thanksgiving, so it's been just about 2 weeks. Um, is I've been going through these partially done projects now and estimating how much time it'll take to finish, and I'm putting that on a piece of tape on the edge of the box. So, for example, when I go to London, I'll be able to grab a box and just take it with me and know that I've got enough to keep me busy for that amount of time. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but I do like to have small projects with me, and so by pre-staging them, last minute I don't have to think about it and go, oh boy, what am I going to do? What project am I going to take? How long is it going to take? How much do I need to pack? Did I remember the needle, the thread, the scissors, the thimble, all of that stuff? Or can I just grab the box and go? So I grab the box and go. So that's our tip for this session. Updates on the quilts. Haven't touched fish and birds. As soon as I got home, we had to prep for Thanksgiving. We had guests in, so there was all of that. And then there was a week of getting caught up, basically. And then we found out that I got a speaking job in Omaha, which worked out perfectly. We're going to be going to one in Denver, and then halfway home on our drive is Omaha, and it was halfway through the time we had scheduled to drive that the one in Omaha starts. It could not have had better dates. So, I'm adding that in, but it does mean that we had to shift a bunch of stuff and we had to order more books and things. So, getting all of that stuff done. So I haven't been at a machine. In fact, I don't even have my machine in front of me right now. I've just been writing when I've had a chance or doing these conventions and that kind of stuff, these little mini things here at home. So it is still sitting over on the floor over there. I have, however, completed a couple of other things. What will I be doing in London? I will be teaching. I'm going for a conference, but they're 5 hours ahead. So when it's 7 p.m. here, it's midnight there. And it is actually going to be the 6th of March, so I will not be doing the live stream that day, because that's the day I'm supposed to do it with you guys, because I'm not staying up till midnight. I love you all tremendously. No. But we're going to go a couple of days early so I can acclimate, because my speech is at 8 a.m., which would be 1 a.m. for me, and I don't speak English with either accent at that point. So we're going to go a couple days early. We're thinking about going to the Warner Brothers Harry Potter event thing that they have there, because there's things you can see there that you cannot see at any of the parks, Warner Brothers or Universal or any of that here in the U.S. So we're going to do that. We may even be going to see the Cursed Child, which is the play. We've read the book, but we haven't seen the play before. We'll probably also bum around and do some historical kinds of sightseeing, but we're not going to get a chance to leave the city. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case. So, there's a limit to how much we can do with the time that we're going to have. But that's what I'll be doing in London, and it should be fun. It'll be the first time either one of us has been there. Scott has been over on that continent before. I never have. I have only been to Canada because I lived in Buffalo, so you could walk to Canada from there across the Peace Bridge. I've been to the Bahamas. We've been down there 3 times in my whole life. And we spent 1/2 of one day in Mexico during a cruise. So that's all of my international experience. So I am very excited to be going. But that'll be fun. It'll be a long flight. I don't even remember how long it's going to take to get there because I haven't done the math for the adding in the 5 hours and so it'll be what it'll be. It'll be fun to go. The amount that they're paying me is so much less than how much it's going to cost, but it's so worth doing just to do it. So it'll be fun. Anyway, other quilt updates. So I told you that I had these. Let me move over here. I had these little flowers, and I wanted to make a background for them, and I made this. But you know what? The more I look at this, the more I like this the way it is, and I don't know if I want to put the flowers on it now. So I don't know. I may make another one. I might put them on here. But the idea was to kind of just put them in random places to just, kind of have them look interesting. But don't know. And I actually got almost all the points to match, so it's a little extra bit of, aw. But it should be fun. I did put these up because I've also been making some 1-inch hexagons. And people said to me, what's the difference? Why are you paying attention to that? And it is surprising how much of a visual difference there is between a 3/4 inch and a 1-inch in terms of how it comes out. So I'm going to be using these ones because I had these papers and I just said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and use them. And I made a bunch of flowers, and then there's not enough papers to do something like a grandmother's flower garden. So I thought I would do something like this. But like I said, I'm really kind of digging on this quilt, even though it was just supposed to be the backing. So I don't know. Flowers or not flowers. I don't know. Anyway, one thing I did do with this was a couple of partial seams. So as you come down, you can see that these don't match. This one actually wound up coming across. I didn't sew it that way because I didn't realize it was going to. But all the rest of them dead end in each other. So there are 2 partial seams on this, just to have anybody who's looking at it and going, what? Just for the fun of it for me, to have people go, how did she put that together? So I'm kind of disappointed that this line was there. I missed it when I was drawing it up, because I probably would have gone ahead and shrunk these slightly or added something somewhere so that, no, it wouldn't be an all the way across. But regardless, I do like it. I don't know why. I just do. Anyway, so that's the background I was telling you about. I also finished the hexies for the modern quilt, modern hexies. This is just on a white piece of backing, and I'm debating just appliquing it down and just leaving that little bit of an edge there and calling it good. It's one of those things where I keep debating, do I want to leave the rippled edge? Because this is actually only a piece of a bigger design. But then I keep thinking, why don't we just square it up so that it's nice and neat? So this one is still on the wall because I'm thinking about it. And it may still be there, a month from now. I don't know. Maybe they're until after London. Who knows? But I am debating on the yes or no on that. So that one's kind of up for grabs right now. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate the permission to change my mind because Lord knows I do that a lot. I'm not very good at following patterns and all of that because I just have fun. Okay, another quilt. And here's a lesson learned. I talked about this at the Quilt Guild on Tuesday. This is a summer challenge that actually, let me put it back on wide view so that maybe you can see it better. This is, of course, it's folded, but you can kind of see the pattern that that a bee that I'm part of did. And I decided to put these nice, big, chunky borders on. Now, people ask me, how big should I make borders? And the general rule of thumb is you want it to be a multiple of either your block, a multiple of your block, and you want your sashing to also be a multiple of your block. For the most part, yes, you can do super thin ones or super fat ones. But in this particular case, I put on a 4-inch border um, because of the 16 patch. I could have done a 3 because of, hold on, it's always backwards. Because of this block is 6 inches across. So I could have done a 3 and it would have made sense. But I did a 4. But I did it at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't get to sleep. And I made a couple of mistakes with this. And I told, those of you that have been around for a while know, you not only get to see my successes, you get to see my mess ups. So I'm going to switch to camera 3. All right. Okay. So, come on. Oh, I'm getting hung up on my writing. Here we go. Sorry about this. I did not get a chance to move all the stuff for writing out of the way first. Okay, so all of my strips like this are white on white, but they're very subtle. This is probably the boldest one here, where you can see that it's a white on white paint. Here, let me turn on another light. Maybe you can see it better, but especially if I do that. Okay, so this is a white on white leaf pattern, but it's still very small scale. And what I did was I picked a white on white, but this is a large scale. And when I hold it up, this is super obvious. Now, with a white backing behind it, it shouldn't be as bad. So the question I had to myself was, do I remove these and replace them with something else that's a smaller scale? Or do I leave it? And I think what I might do is make a little sandwich for part of this and put it under and see what it looks like with the white right behind it. Another thing is I did not realize that this was directional. If you can see here, there is actually a top to this flower. But because I was just taking the 4-inch strips and I sewed them together into a long piece and then I cut my borders and everything, sometimes they face up and sometimes they face down. So this was not my very best of jobs. So it is a mistake. I freely admit that. So then the question becomes, do you fix it or do you not fix it? The gal who's going to get this is related. And she's quilt worthy, but she's not double wedding ring quilt worthy, if you understand the difference. So in terms of the amount of work that went into this, a fair amount went into this. I don't want it to look like garbage, and I don't think it does, even with these borders. But the question is it worth taking those all off and replacing them and doing something else? Or will it look just fine, and she'll be happy with it anyway? I have a feeling it's the second one. I don't think that she'll care. I know she doesn't watch this channel, so I don't have to worry about her getting in on my secrets early. But, I mean, there is a lot of time and attention that's already been put into this. So I have a feeling that what I'm going to do is leave that border on and then just go ahead and quilt this. It will be a bigger pain in the tush to take the border off afterwards if after it's quilted I decide I don't like it. But I will give it one more shot when I have it basted and I can see just what it's going to look like, because it'll be on the, after I do that little test. If the little test comes out okay, I will still baste the whole thing, take one more look at it, make a final decision. And then even if I hate it afterwards, I'll probably still not do anything about it. I'll probably say, you know what, this is perfectly fine. It's good enough. It passed all the tests along the way. Only you guys and I know that I messed it up. She will probably not notice, as, you know, the way Pat asked. It bothers me. It would bother somebody else who knew what they were looking at, potentially. But the upside down, right side up question, I now that I've told you, if you ever see it, I'm sure you'll notice. I don't even think most quilters will notice the fact that some of them are one way and some of them are the other. You'll just see a white on white with a white backing. Yeah, you probably won't notice it at all. So that's what I'm thinking about doing with this. I also think that I'm going to do that pieced 1-inch strip binding that I did on this channel before. And that way it'll tie in with all of the colors here. Um, because every color I own is in here somewhere. And so that will tie everything all together nicely, I think. So that's probably what I'm going to do for the binding on that. But that's the plan. Um, this is going to go on my pile of things to take to quilt camp for me to sew in February. I have this, and I'll probably take the Fish and Birds quilt because I don't know that I'm going to get to it in January. And so I'll probably do just a bunch of quilting during quilt camp. It will probably mean that on the Tuesday, when I would prefer to not haul a machine, because I'll have to take it home that day, I may even have to take the machine and do all 3 days. But we'll figure that out later. But anyway, so that's the update on the quilts. I don't think I'm missing any. Let me put the glasses on just so I can see. Nope, that's it. So a couple of months ago, I told you about Judy, who is here in our chat right now. And she was the mystery quilter at our guild. Since the last time I was on, Pat, who is also here on our chat today, was the mystery quilter for the guild. And again, I sit there and I don't understand why they're here. Okay? Please, ladies, don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. But it amazes me just how creative everyone is and how skilled these ladies are. I really appreciate having them in my sisterhood of quilters, both of you, as well as the rest of you that are here, because nobody knows everything. Some of us don't know much at all. And I put myself in that category a lot of the time. That's one reason why I show you my mistakes. I've had people who ask me questions at the Quilt Guild, and I'll say, okay, I would do it this way, but I see you leaving, Pat. Don't you dare. I'll staple your feet to the floor. And they'll ask me questions, and I'll say, okay, this is how I would tackle it, but I don't know that it's the best way. It's just the way that I would do it. So, you know, I was talking about how Judy did all of these really fancy, you know, Ren Fair clothes and gowns and all of that stuff. And that was very cool. Pat was showing me all of the stuff showing all of us all these beautiful pieces that she made. She even won the best overall quilt in a little mini quilt show that our guild put on. So, I mean, amazing. Pat, you're great too. And so that's yet another reason why if you don't belong to a guild, look for one. See if you can find one that you like, because the talent and the people that are there are just amazing. And thank you, Judy. And so I am humbled whenever I see what these folks do, but I'm at least willing to make a fool out of myself in public, so that's why I'm here. So hopefully you enjoy what I do, and those of you who want to learn some new skills that I have, I'm more than happy to share. So anyway, now I did have somebody ask me, because I told her about a crafting project that I was doing, if I was going to do that on my channel as well. I do know that there's a lot of things like the costumers who also show other projects they're doing, like if they're painting their walls artistically, or if they're doing a pottery project or something for Halloween or something. They put those projects on their channel as well. I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. So either drop something in the chat, send me an email, mail@StashBlasterQuilts.com. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to see some of the other projects that I'm working on that aren't quilt related, I'd be happy to show them to you. But, you know, that's one of those things that I don't, if people only want to see quilting, I don't want to be showing stuff you're not interested in. The only way that I know, though, is if you tell me. So I did put a survey up. It's on my website, and it was 2 or 3 live streams ago, I think I put it up, where you can answer some questions for me about what you'd like to do for next year. It was really interesting to me what's happened so far. I'm going to keep this open until December 31st. Okay, just so you know. So you can vote if you haven't already. But some things I got 100% with one answer. You all want to see PowerPoint, you know, descriptions of my trips. You all want a sewing room tour when I get it set up, because right now things are in chaos. My son just moved out, but he didn't take all of his stuff, and it's like, ah! But once I get this all resettled, I will take you on a studio tour. You all wanted once a month to do a block of the month, not a once each session, because that would be twice a month usually. You all wanted once a month. You split about halfway in terms of, did you want to be done by the end of the year, including the quilting, and did you just want the 12 blocks and you'd finish it the next year? So I'm looking for some tiebreaker people here. And then when I asked what size block, it's come out dead even across. I've had 8 people, and you've each picked, 2 of you have each picked each of the 4 sizes that I offered you. So at the end of the month, even if it's only by 1 vote, whatever size is chosen is the size you're going to get. So if you really have a choice that's important to you, let me know by voting. You can even send me a note and say, okay, if we only have these things, make sure that you consider the size. I'm happy to listen to that. But so that's what's going on with that. Like I said, I will keep that survey up on SurveyMonkey until the end of the year. And then starting in January, we will start with a block of the month. As of right now, I offered several theme options. I have 1 vote for every theme as well. So if there's a theme you would like me to consider, pop it in there. And if it also stays even, I am going to roll a die. That's how the ultimate decision will come down to chance. Hopefully you'll still enjoy it anyway. However, that's what I'm going to have to do, because I can't do, 12 different themes in 4 different sizes every month for a year without shooting myself in the head, and that would be bad. So that's what's going on with the survey for next year's quilt. But please let me know. If you don't see the link, you can email me and I will send it to you by email. But it should be on the website without a problem. Okay? If you've been on the website and you didn't find last year's quilt, because we just showed those yesterday at the Springfield Quilt Guild, and several people asked about it, you're going to go to the website, StashBlasterQuilts.com. You'll go to the Annual Quilts tab, 2023, and then all the rounds are there, which includes how much material, depending on what size you're making, all of that. And it'll take you all the way through to do one of several sizes of table toppers, and then what adjustments to make if you want to do a lap size with a bigger block. So I gave 2 additional sizes for bigger blocks if you wanted to do a bigger piece. Thanks, Pat. So that's what's going on with last year's quilt and this year's quilt coming up. Well, it's this year's quilt, sorry, and next year's quilt. So I have not had a chance to go through all of the photos from all the summer trips that I took. But if you heard me tapping on the computer before this started, I was finishing the PowerPoint for the Missouri trip. So, technology, we know this could be a problem, but I'm going to attempt to go ahead and pull up this PowerPoint. Oh, come on. Slideshow. I can't see here, PowerPoint. Now, hopefully you can see it. Hold on 1 second. I might be able to check and see. The escape button on my computer does not work properly. So I have to look here. That's me. All right. Did you see a slide just a second ago? Because now I'm to where I can see the chat. Did you see a slide a second ago that said Missouri trip? Pat and Judy? I'm hoping you did. Because when I have the PowerPoint up, I can't see the screen that shows me what you see. Dang. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I'm just going to click through real quick. I'm going to show a couple photos and see if I fix this. This is me going through St. Louis. So there's the arch, and then there's me with it in the palm of my hand. The Moonrise Hotel, I just love the moon that was on top of that. We were on Route 66 for part of the trip, which is the Mother Road. It goes from Chicago all the way to California. And so we were at the Route 66 diner. And it was kind of fun. It was one of those trailer type ones. And as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to escape again and see if I can, see if you were able to see it. So, James Dean, dream as if you'll live forever, live as if you'll die today. They had the really old bank seats, and I love the fact that even the chairs have the stripe. And then we saw these along the way, and it's the kind of thing that I think about when I'm quilting. Because those of us that are quilting, if we're just giving it a shot and going with the flow, you never know where you're going to end up. It doesn't mean that you wound up with something that you shouldn't have wound up with. And then the road to success is always under construction. Lord knows that's true. Okay, now I'm going to escape again. All right. All right. So you did see it. The 50 individual slides is where it starts, and then you should have seen when I went through the pictures. Did you see the individual pictures, like filling up the screen? Because when I started, it shows all the slides, but then when I start the actual slideshow, it should only show one at a time. No single slides. That doesn't make any sense. Well, sorry about that. All right, see, that has a bunch of slides on there. That's my, that's just my screen. I wonder if I can do this as a share. Well, I am very sorry that this isn't working the way it should be. It's not, I can't share the screen. That doesn't work. But it should be having the double click on one side. Sure. All right. Could you see that one? It's got two pictures on it, me and the arch. Oh, you can see that one. Okay. All right. Well, then let's do this. I'm going to slide this over. And then I will do that. So now you should be looking at the picture with the Moonrise Hotel. I've ridden in the arch. I wanted to ride in the arch, but I did not have the opportunity. We were just in such a rush to get to Missouri. Okay, so this was just really cool because if you look at the top up here, you have the actual moon that you can see, and it will, at some points they said they do rotate it. Right, so here's the Route 66 stuff. So get your kicks on Route 66. All right, James Dean. These are the tables and chairs I was telling you about. And you can see from the tabletop right in front of us that it's very kitschy. All right, there's places you'll go. Okay, so the Lodge of the Four Seasons is where we stayed for the actual conference. Um, and I love this sun. We're going to see it again in just a minute. I am going to close the chat so I can see the screen better, but at least I know you're seeing what I'm seeing here. And so here's the same sun. I do like that. I'm thinking at some point I might use the curly cues, particularly here at the top and bottom. Right, and here, this is super slow, sorry. These curly cues here for some quilting. I think that might be fun. This is the conference that I was at. I could not figure out how to hold my hand so it looked like I was also holding hands with the people that were holding hands. But it was still fun anyway. So this is a tree that was outside my room. I just thought this was really interesting with its shape. And this is the view from the deck outside my room during the day. I learned something. This was a room where the... I'll put it here so you can see me. It had the sliding glass door out to the Japanese gardens, which was beautiful. And then when you came in and you shut the door, you closed the curtains and nobody can see in. But you can't leave the room and have the curtains closed, which meant when we weren't in the room, people could look in, see that we weren't there. That really creeped me out, to be perfectly honest with you. Honestly, I figured that there was also no safe in the room. That I probably thought about, was anybody in my room 5 or 6 times every day? Now, this is a place where we got a great rate because we were there for the conference, and we were there with a government rate because the organization that was having me speak was government, so I got that rate. But in the off season, this room is $250 a night, and it's $500 a night in season. I can't imagine spending $500 a night and not being sure that people couldn't tell that I was in the room and could go in. You know, even in a regular motel, yeah, the window goes right to the outside and the door goes right to the outside, but you can keep the curtains closed. They don't know if you're there or not. So this was something that kind of bothered me. But the view was spectacular. So let me get back to that. So I'm just going to click through these real quick. But this is the Japanese garden, which was right outside our room. And it was just beautiful. The temperature was a little cool in the mornings. You actually had to go outside to get into the hotel itself. The pools were closed to swimming, but you could at least still see the water. Now, this waterfall is inside the hotel. This is the 5th floor that we're on, and it goes all the way down to the main floor. And the water comes in from outside, so it comes in from the Japanese garden, and then cascades all the way down through this long waterfall inside. There it is from a slightly different angle. They had these fire pits that they did light at night. And then we took a whole bunch of pictures here. They have all these little statues everywhere. The trees were beautiful. This was probably my favorite little waterfall in the whole place. That's a stone egret. It's not a live one, but it was really nice to see. And then we tried to take some at various times of the day. So the first set was closer to midday. This is getting close to sunset, but not quite. That's a nice waterfall there on the right as well. And we could hear the water inside the room until we had neighbors that came in. But if you listened hard, you could hear it. But you've got the pools, and then you've got all of the lake back there. This is Lake of the Ozarks, by the way. More lake. And then as it got darker, they actually lit the waterfall and then and the trees, which weren't lit during the day. One picture that's missing, and I don't know why, is this waterfall that you see back here has a fire pit on top of it. And so it would be lit underneath, but then you would also have the flames on top. And this is the fire and ice pool, which makes sense. So, but it was gorgeous. So some other architectural features at the hotel. I really liked this railing. This was actually at a rest stop, at a truck stop on the way home. So that was kind of an interesting thing to see. But I did like those roses that were climbing, and then it had a different pattern on the top rail. Back to the sun. It's a different sun, but it's still a sun. This was the metal chandelier at the hotel. Those are fake candles. There was a giant fire pit inside, but they also had some of these with real flames in different parts of the hotel, which was nice. This is the handle to the bathroom door. It just surprised me that they would do something so ornate for that, but they did. I just loved this with the roses and everything. And then I loved the curves because there's 4 different curves for the lights themselves. So they interact so beautifully. And particularly, like right here where this piece comes up and it kisses there, and then it comes up to the top, and then curls up to a little rounded part up here. It just adds so much movement just with that little extra curve. The lamps, I thought that the gold piece on there was interesting. It looks kind of like skulls and aliens unless you look at it really closely. So it's kind of a fun, whimsy thing too. This is the chandelier that was in one of the lecture rooms. I thought at first it was natural because I hadn't seen one of these in the building before. But no, this is mass produced. This is just a mirror in one of the restaurants. It's gigantic, but the curls, and then up here in the corners where you've got like these little feathers up in here, I thought might make for an interesting fill at some point, because you have this big curl with just these little feathers. So that might be fun as a quilting design. Again, a more ornate mirror. I just loved it. In that it looks like little plants and flowers as you go around. We did go, I'm going to pronounce this in the more polite way, Uranus. This is the picture from Indiana, but we also went to it in Missouri. And I will be talking about that part of the trip towards the end. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about it here. Okay. I thought I had more architecture photos. Actually, I know I have more architecture photos. They must have gotten mixed in when I was tip-tapping. So I'm going to show you the PC pictures first. Then I'm going to put up a warning sign. And then I'm going to show you the stuff that is of questionable humor. So this is the stuff that everybody should be okay with. But there will be some weird stuff later. I just love the fact that it's noticed. Thank you for noticing this new notice. Your notice has been noted and will be reported to the proper authorities. They paint everything at both locations. So these are chairs made out of milk jugs, but all of the tables and everything is painted differently. So that has this the Pledge of Allegiance on it. So wherever you go, there's differently painted chairs and rocks, and that's the one side of the door. You'll see the other side of the door in just a little bit. So they have a lot of fun. Now, because it's Uranus, again, I'm trying to be nice here, it also has a lot of outer space themes, as well as the potty mouth type stuff. But this was a lot of fun to sit and look at all of this while we were getting some ice cream. This is in the ice cream shop. I thought this was a really cool lamp. The chair on the right, there's a couple of them painted in a similar fashion where it looks like it's a cartoon. And from across the room, since you know that they paint everything, and they paint what looks like aliens in the walls coming out and things like that. At first I thought that this was a painted chair, painted on the wall in perspective, until I realized it was a real chair. So you never quite know when you're walking around. This is one of their chandeliers. I thought this was so cool. I would never have it in my house, but I thought it was so cool. And then there was this one, which I also would not have in my house, but which I thought was really cool. They had like 6 of the small lights and then about 4 of these, but obviously somebody had a really good time with this. This was just a piece of metalwork that was at the top of the building. I don't think 9 people out of out of 100 would notice it. Even the trash cans, I said everything was painted. The side you can see here of the display case was painted. And it is true, chocolate fixes everything. So they also have a sideshow. And when you go to the sideshow, this is one of the first things that you see. Caution, baby rattlers. That's them. They also have the jail. I have a picture of me pouting as I'm holding a sign for the jail. That one got sent to be put on my Instagram, and for some reason I didn't put it back here, so I apologize for that. So there's a mariachi band on the roof line, as well as the elephant in the little circus cookie type train. Like I said, aliens are poking out from everywhere, so I thought that chair might be. Lots of fun signage all over the place. They actually, in Missouri, they have the world record belt buckle. We could not get a good photo of it because it was just all dark. It's a giant oval, and it is 10 feet tall and 13.5 feet wide, basically. It's a gigantic thing. It's not a real belt buckle. It's just shaped and built like one. But it was fun to see. Now we'll get to some of the signage I really liked. If at first you don't succeed, do it the way your wife told you. So in the store, they have a lot of things like this. So, like I said, these are the PC shirts first. This is as close to risque as it gets. I almost bought this one for myself. I so want this one too. Scott said I should get this one. I told him he should get this one. Okay, this is a little confusing. This is actually just 2 paintings, but I couldn't get these cropped in time, and I apologize for that. So one is the jellyfish and one is the seahorse. These are in the bathroom, as are the fish and the turtles. Okay, so now I'm going to pronounce this in the not PC way. So if you are offended, please go ahead, turn this off, come back to it again later, and you can rejoin the chat. If you're watching this on tape, just skip ahead to where you just see me and the PowerPoint is over. Okay, I don't want anybody offended that isn't willing to be offended. Let's put it that way. So, Uranus snake oil. There's a lot of this. My favorite one was cures gout, tames shrews. This sign greets you at both locations. I really wish I had a big enough family to use, to fill each of those face spots. I loved these oven mitts because they look so June Cleaver and are so not. This one, my favorite one, is the do one thing every day that scares your family. Now, the proctologist, Dental and Proctology Clinic, it says, check out the Evil Dr. Keen's special for this week. $25 prostate exam and teeth cleaning. Extra $5 to change gloves. We give the best cavity searches in town. Scott's favorite part was the extra $5 to change gloves. Of course, when you go to the front door, you see this sign. When you walk in, they all greet you with "Welcome to Uranus." And then they start with all the hideous fudge packer jokes and things like that. Now, this is the one in Indiana. We actually were at the one in Missouri, and then when we were reading, they put out a newspaper because they supposedly have a mayor and there's all kinds of news and stuff. And they were talking about their new Indiana location. Well, it was only about a half an hour out of our way. So we did go to both locations. I love the Klingon free. I just do. I don't know why. And this one was prophetic to me because I was talking to a college kid and there was just nothing I could say. Now, there's going to be a bunch of these where it's all bumper stickers and stuff, but my favorite one on this one was "My decision-making skills closely resemble those of a squirrel when crossing a road." And I'm pretty sure my last words are going to be "hold my beer and watch this." Because on this trip, it was kind of that kind of a thing. I like the "I hope manners are the next cool trend." But I'll leave these up so you can read them all. "My spirit animal is a fat raccoon struggling to climb out of a dumpster." It is so true. And I also like the "sometimes I wrestle with my demons, sometimes we just snuggle." I almost bought that one. Of course, this is just rude altogether. Each location does have its own, not only candy shop, but an ice cream store. So, that's what this is. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. I also like the "I'm a Fruit Loop in a world full of Cheerios." And weird is just a side effect of being awesome. Zombies eat brains, you're safe. I liked all of these. I liked all of these. This is in the bathroom. There was just nothing to say. I liked the one that says "Life is what happens when your cell phone is charging." I also like the "Step aside coffee. This is a job for alcohol." Because you've got to think when they were coming up with this stuff, some of them had to have been wasted. You could get poop-shaped candies. So this is outside. So you know you're in the right place when you get here. So you see this. And then there's these Burma shave signs, basically. And then we bought fudge for a lot of our family and friends, and it all came packed in boxes like this. So it already had had all the information on it. This is the last seat that I'm going to show you because of its questionableness. But that is it. So let me close this and then bring... Hold on, I'm just going to bring back the comments area. My thing here does not want to do this. So Okay. So hopefully that was fun. You got to see um, some of the silly stuff that we did, and so we had a really good time. Like I said, we stopped and then we came back. Well, the nice thing is, by the way, the fudge was amazing. It was really good. I'm going back to Indiana. Um, I think it's in June. I'm not sure. Um, and we're going to be going right by here again. So we're going to get to go back and get more fudge for people and for ourselves. We did get the little bonbon type chocolates that they have, and we're really surprised. It's like all of the centers were dipped in dark chocolate, and then they were dipped either in milk or white or dark again. So even when you got the lemon or lime bonbon things, um, they still had dark chocolate in them, so they were still a little bitter, and the dark chocolate kind of overrode the interior flavor. So if you're ever going there, if you want to order from there, because they ship worldwide, um, I would probably skip those. I would just go for the fudge, um, because everybody has been raving about the fudge. So it was a lot of fun. So hopefully you got to see some funny, like I said, some funny things, and maybe some of those phrases on the bumper stickers and T-shirts I may use in real life, um, because they were really funny. I think my favorite one was the sweatshirt with the college thing. That I don't want to say it out loud because regular people who might be offended are hopefully back now. Um, but it was just so appropriate. So anyway, we had a wonderful time. I will work on pulling together the summer pictures. I think what I'll probably just do though is like the architecture pieces, the stuff that's more quilting brain, putting on your quilting brain when you're looking at things. Um, I don't know that you're really going to want to see the 800 photos that we took of various scenery and amusement parks and that kind of stuff. Um, but there's a lot going on, so I wanted to make sure that I shared those with you. I'm glad we got that figured out. So just out of curiosity, when you were looking at the pictures, did you still see the strip down the side of the little pictures of the slides? Because that should not have been there. You should have just had the square that had the picture and me inset in it. And I have a feeling that's not what you were seeing. So if you saw all those little ones, I'm going to have my son come and help us figure out what happened, because it should have been up there. Unfortunately, like I said, I was still putting it together and did not see a strip. Good, okay. Then it might have come out the way it was supposed to. So we'll get it figured out. But thank you. All right, we have about 7 minutes left. If this is your first time here, I do travel quite a bit. And this year, I already know I'm going to Albuquerque, Denver, Omaha, Indianapolis, London. I may be going to Orlando, Boston, New York, and Chicago. So there's at least 6 places that I know that I'm going this coming year. And so there'll be more of this kind of stuff if you like this. I could also do kind of a compiled vlog along the way and maybe do some short video clips. But the reason that I do this as a live stream instead of doing the usual, 10 to 20 minute edited videos is because editing takes so freaking long. So it's going to be lots of little tiny live streams where I don't correct a lot of stuff. But if you're interested in something like that, then we could certainly consider doing something like that as well. Keep in mind that a lot of the times I never get to leave the hotel. So, for example, I forgot Minneapolis. I'm going to be flying from here to Albuquerque to Minneapolis and then back here. But I'm only going to be in the hotels pretty much in Albuquerque and in Minneapolis. So I can show you the hotel, but there's not going to be a huge amount to show on that trip. But it is what it is. I have one convention that ends on the 19th, and the other convention starts on the 19th in Albuquerque and in Minneapolis. So, gotta fly in between. So that's why we're doing that. I know it's a little weird, but it's what we're going to be doing. I don't know if it is wise to invite my son back or not. We had him back for Thanksgiving. He brought his girlfriend Lauren, and her sister Kim came. And then my stepmom Bonnie was here. For those of you who know me and have been around for a while, she comes several times a year. It's wonderful to have her here. And so, all in all, it was a very nice time. The biggest issue was is that Scott had to try to do a lot of cooking prep before we left, but then we were gone for 10 days, so it's not like you can pre-chop celery and do that kind of stuff without it turning brown by the time you get back. So he did as much prep work in advance as he could and froze a bunch of stuff. And then as soon as we got back, the first thing he did was go and he flipped the turkey because it was brining. And then he had to start cooking and cooking and cooking, and I did cleaning stuff and, all of that. So, all in all, it was a wonderful Thanksgiving. There's only a couple of times a year that we tend to have people over in a group. I mean, this is about as big a group as Scott can handle. So, I usually put out a puzzle. Everybody kind of contributes to the puzzle. We've been doing mystery puzzles where you put the puzzle together without a picture, and then there's a mystery that you read, and then the clues are in the puzzle itself, and then you try to guess the answer. So we did another one of those this year, and that was fun. If this is your first time here, you will get this kind of a thing when I've been on a trip, but mostly we're going to be talking quilting stuff. But I always start with the tip, then I update you on the various quilts that I do for you guys. I don't show things like commissioned quilts. I don't show you a lot of the charity quilting type stuff that I do because it's all pretty much the same. It's the StashBlaster 1 quilt. Yes, I've been told that the website, the quilt patterns, are not active like they should be. So I have another website that has got to be built first. But as soon as that one is done, then we are going to fix StashBlasterQuilts.com as well. The emails work, but the website's weird. When that is all over, then we will, get on to other projects that are way behind. But, okay, this is weird. YouTube seems to be showing me that I still live in... Hold on. Still lived in. Sorry. Was half reading Pat's comment and half talking. I should be showing my regular video here. So I'm not sure what's going on. Because what I'm seeing here is like you only have me in the tiny corner of the screen again. So I don't know what's happening with that. Hopefully it gets fixed. I apologize if it's wrong. I will do my best to fix this for next time. Just like I'm going to try to get it so that my computer works properly. So anyway, if this is your first time here, I apologize for the technical problems. I will do my best to get them fixed. But thank you so much for being here. And, I look normal. As much as I ever do. I understand that caveat's on there. Oh yeah, it's way back to when you were seeing the 50 photos on my... There's a delay, just so you know, if you don't know this on YouTube, that my streaming site shows me what you should be seeing in real time. The pictures that I see on YouTube are delayed, and usually only by about 5 seconds. It's all the way back to where when you were commenting you could see 50 photos. So I don't know why it does that, but it does. So I was thinking that I was not the way I should have been. So thanks, Judy, for letting me know. I do try to value your time. So it is 8 o'clock. We're going to end for today. And I will be back in 2 weeks as usual. And then I was just double checking here. I am going to, like I said, try to get some of these get the computer working so that we don't have the problem that we had when I was in Minnesota. But for the 20th, it won't be a problem. I will be here. Hopefully I will see you from 7 to 8 then. Have a great time quilting, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Good night.